Hello, you guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the Expand and Evolve podcast. I am your host, Carly Pinchin. And this week, I want to dive all into just some key takeaways from the financial intensive that I was just at. And there's too much to do in one episode, so I'm going to do different episodes. But for this one specifically, I wanted to focus more on like some reflection and some points from Robert Edward Grant's talk that he did with us, because some of them are just, there was too many quotes that were mind-blowing that I'm literally going to read them to you and then let them settle into your life. But ultimately what I found, first of all, I'm feeling so fired up and like I'm able to create whatever it is I want in this life, like truly being there, being around the people, being around the energy, being around people whose businesses are way bigger than mine that do a lot more per year. Just starting to help show me like what is possible. And I think this is the most important thing that you can do in your financial life is surround yourself with people who show you that the more is possible than where you currently are. And in my business, in network marketing, there wasn't a lot of people that I could still look up to that had way more than what I have. And so what I did was I went and found a room where there was people who would still inspire me to think bigger. And I have food in my teeth. I think this is so crucial when you're a business owner, is to get yourself in rooms with people who are doing better than you, who are doing things differently than you, because it gives you different insight and belief, and like it raises the lid and the ceiling that you currently have on yourself. Because ultimately where you are right now, you're there because of your current limiting beliefs. And even if you don't feel like you have limiting beliefs, you have beliefs that are capping you, or else you'd be in a different position than where you currently are. And so I feel like when I first went to Awaken a year and a half ago, that was the first place that I was like, okay, I'm just done with like fear and scarcity and lack. And like, I'm ready to live the most abundant life possible. And so I declared goals there for what I wanted for income, where I wanted to grow to, how much money I wanted to have in my bank account. And that was like a year and a half ago. I did all of those things within the year, which I said I was going to do. And then this is my now second financial intensive. If you guys go back, some of my first episodes actually were from the financial intensive that I was at last year. And this one specifically, it was really cool coming back because I really do feel like I'm in a position where I can actually 10 times my business. I feel like the foundations are there, because I literally have cashews in my teeth. Let me just try to get those out of there. But I feel like I'm in a position where I could 10 times my business, and I'm so excited to grow this. And I think I just have here's the thing with money, okay? We think money is something separate. We think of money like an energy or a thing that's outside of us. But ultimately, money is just a reflection of what's going on within you. If your business life, if your job life is chaotic, you probably have chaos within you. If you don't have a lot of abundance in your life, you probably don't live a very abundant life within you. So just know that money usually is just showing up in the same way that you kind of are, if that makes sense. So let's just say your relationship life is chaotic. Your relationship with money might be chaotic also. Like typically these things are layered in terms of relationships, health, and finances. They all kind of play a role together. So think of health like your physical being in your body, your overall wellness, and then think of relationships, whether that's a romantic relationship, friendship relationships, business relationships, and then money, and how those things kind of show up and play a role in your life. And just understanding that it's not separate. Like if you start to really hone in and understand you and your inner power and who you really are and what you care about and what your purpose is and what you connect to, and just are connected to your own heart, this is going to translate into the financial means that you have in your life if you're being intentional about creating that. And so first, what we did was we got really crystal clear on just what we always start with every single time is what you want, what you're working on, and then wins. So if you were to even take a minute, this episode is going to be a little bit more interactive with these questions I'm about to ask you. So if you have time to listen to this while you can journal, or pause it after I ask the question to do a minute of introspection within yourself, okay? So just to think about the 3 W's, Danny Morrell always has us do this at the beginning of the intensives, but your wants in terms of what you're wanting in your life, in terms of your finances, what you're currently working on, and then your wins. So take a moment, think about that for a sec. What do you really want? What are you currently working on? And what are some of your recent wins in regards to finances, money, all that kind of stuff? Pause this if you want to reflect on that. The next thing I want you to think about is, what is your financial dream? So if you had to think about your absolute dream life in terms of finances, what would that look like? So take a moment, write it down, or pause this episode and just start thinking, like, what is your financial dream? It could be like, I want to make $100 million, okay? Or make $1 billion. Like, you could know that infinite amounts of money are possible, but make it specific to you. And for me, I can't, like, of course I know endless amounts of money are possible, but at the phase of my life I'm in right now, I can see 10 million as being possible. And I know, of course, like 20, 100, a billion, like all of those things are possible. But in my current limitations of what I can physically see for myself, I don't really think I can see past 10 million yet. And this is something I've had to work on, right? Like over time, there was a time when I couldn't see past 250 or 500 or a million. And now I can see past 10 million. So just know that this grows as you grow. But for me right now, that's kind of what I would love to see. It could be like that you want to be able to fly first class. It could be the dream home that you want. It could be having a book that's a New York Times bestseller. It could be a dream home that has 10,000 square feet. It could be your family, having space for your family to live there, having like how I want to have a school. It could be funding an animal sanctuary. Like, what is your financial dream? And just get specific for you. I really want a retreat center. I would love to watch more people heal in terms of also couples and relationships. I would love to hold space for that. So in my financial dream, it's like I want a regenerative farm. I want the land to be completely created in that way. I want to have space to be able to adopt animals. I want a beautiful home because why not? I want to be making enough that it makes sense eventually to be able to fly private with my team just because it's convenient. I was looking at prices last night. And this is something that I feel like is so valuable, you guys, is I've always done this in my life when it comes to money. Is like, okay, the house that I want, before I even had the money, I factored in how much would this cost me per month? And I created the vision of what I needed in order to have that thing in my life. So I never put it away from me as if it wasn't possible. Just like flying private, I don't have it like it's not possible. There's a lot of circumstances that make sense. Like for us right now, there's a big group of us going to Costa Rica and the flights are shitty. And I'm like, if we just doubled our amount of like a first class flight, we could all split the cost and do charter a plane. And this would be more convenient. And it's also not so out of touch that like it feels possible. And like, I'll be doing that within the next year or two, if it makes sense. And so I'm looking at the cost because I'm like, once you normalize the cost in your mind, then I believe that when you really want it and it's out of a heart-centered place, which it is, it's convenience. Like there's no reason. The same way you can go to the grocery store and buy pre-cooked chicken. Like if it makes more sense to take a chartered plane with a big group of you who's going to the same place for convenience and comfort, why would you not do that? Right? And so I started factoring this in as just a luxury I want to experience in my life is being able to do this when it makes sense. And so I was looking at prices last night because I was like, wait, this is so feasible. Like for the cost of flying now, even at a commercial airline, I'm like, this is, first of all, it's so inconvenient. Like the lines and waiting and security and how long it takes and then waiting for people to get off the plane and then everyone's booking different airlines when we're all just going to the same place. It's like, it just, for our life and how many of us are typically going to the same place, I'm like, we will be flying private eventually for different events because it just makes sense. So I've put that in there. That's part of my financial dream. I want to be able to afford that for the convenience factor. If I was to think even bigger regarding my financial dream, ideally, I would love to basically build my own city at this point. I'm like, I have this vision of, I already want to build a school and I want to farm and all those things, small scale, right? But if I had endless amounts of money, you guys, I would love to have a partner who's like a developer, understands building. And then we would go buy like 100 to 500 acres. I don't even know, build our own development. And then you have enough money where you could have like either a chartered plane or helicopter to take you into like a main airport. Because obviously if you were a little bit out in the boonies, I still want to be able to travel. So you'd need a space for the helicopter or plane to get you there. But basically to be able to build all of these really beautiful homes with acreage, but then you all live off the land together, like in your own village and community, but think of it like pretty. Does this make sense? So all of the homes so that you can still be connected to the earth, the kids can be connected together, you could have your own school, you could have the farm where you farm to table, you could have a big communal like eating area in the middle where you could do big dinners, so kind of like a hall within this development, but everyone still has their own home. So it's like you're not all living together in like an actual village. It is a village and it's a community. Oh my gosh, my voice. But it gives you the space to have your own homes and have your own space, but it's like your neighbors, and you just build your own little neighborhood that has all the things that you need, and you are connected with the earth. And with a side of bougie. Sorry that I'm like trying to clear my throat in your ear. Hold on. I'm really sorry. I hate when this happens when I'm speaking. Okay. So thinking about all that, right? That could be too far out. You're like, oh my God, build a city. I have no desire for that. Doesn't matter. Your financial dream is specific to you. Right now, it could be like, I just never want to struggle with bills ever again. I always want to have a surplus of money, like whatever. Okay. Make sure you've written yours down and gotten crystal clear with what yours is. Pause me if you need to. The next thing that you're going to do is just get clear on the energy that you're currently creating your life from. So if you really had to think about it, especially when it comes to money, are you creating it from a place of infinite abundance? Like, you know, everything on earth is possible. All your desires can come true. You go through life almost as if it's already happened, like operating out of the frequency that these things are already here in the now, and you live your life as if. That's a totally different energy than the fear of never having enough, or the fear of never getting to the place that you want to, or the fear of thinking that there's never enough resources, never enough money, and always in a place of fear, scarcity, and lack. So just identifying, like, what is the energy that you're currently creating your life from? I also went even deeper in terms of my financial dream and just wrote it almost like a letter to myself, in the now. So in the present tense, as if it's already happened, because I want to be able to look at this and feel this, because I think this is part of the key of manifestation is you need to be able to create something and have a vision of it from a heart-centered place, but then you can tap in and feel the energy of that as if it's already happened. That's part of it. Because if you, let's say, create a vision of having a farm or a jet or whatever, and you put it so far out and so far outside of you, you've just created separation with the very thing that you want to call into your life. And you can't create from a place of separation. You create from a knowing and feeling within you as if it's already here. So making sure that when you have any dreams, like think of a goal that you've set in your business. If you've set it like in 9 months, I want to be at this place because of this, this, and this, and this. No, the key here is that you need to see it in your mind and believe it as if it's already here. And when you can get to a place where you believe it as if it's already here and you are like living it as if it's already here right now, you are going to be so much closer to that thing happening than if you put it so far outside yourself, like it's never going to come, or you've said like in 25 months, when I become this person, then I want to get that. No, you've created separation. You've put it outside of you rather than embodying that thing within you right now. The next thing, wow, fireworks. Pew, 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 pew. I don't know why I did that, but it's true. Okay, so this goes on to the next part. What would my identity be if I was already at that level? So again, pause this if you need to, but think on this. What would my identity be if I was already at that level? Who would you identify as? How would you show up in your life? How would you dress? What would you look like? Would you carry yourself differently? Would you do things differently? Would you choose the restaurants you go to differently? Would you choose how you dress? Like if you put makeup on, how you do your hair, how you carry yourself energetically? Would you be more poised? Would your shoulders be pulled back? Would you have more confidence? Like, who would you be if you were already living that? And how would what would that identity look like? Because ultimately you want to be able to see that again in the mind's eye and then embody it in the now. What would I need to believe right now for this kind of power to exist in my life? What would I need to believe right now for this kind of power to exist in my life? Reflect on that for you. What beliefs would you maybe need to shift? Would you need to mostly shift. And like, what would you need to believe in order for that to be true? Would you need to believe that you're capable, that you're competent, that you attract everything that you want in life, and that it's easy, and that you're deserving, that you're worthy? What would you need to believe in order to embody that power? Note things down if you need to, or just sit, pause this for a second and really feel into that. And then the next question is, how often are you in the frequency and vibration of your vision instead of your current reality? So if you have a vision that you want for your life, you know there's things that you desire, whether it be the partnership of your dreams or the home of your dreams or having land or a farm or the business that you want or being at a certain level within your business or finally hitting a certain rank or a certain monetary value or earning a certain paycheck, like whatever vision it is that you have for your life. How often are you in the frequency and vibration of that vision rather than the frequency and vibration of your current reality? And I just recorded a podcast right before this talking about my last journey. I don't know how these are going to get posted or when I'll post which one. But I was saying how I have this vision for my life. I feel like anything is possible and I feel limitless and that all my desires and the things that I want are possible and they can come true. And then when I come back to my current reality, so when I'm away, it feels a lot easier than when I'm in my own home around the people in my life and like just where I live. And so this is something that I even need to be really mindful of, is how often am I rereading this vision that I have? How often am I feeling into the frequency of the vision that I have for my life rather than just vibrating and operating through my life through my current reality? Because for so many of us, we just go through the motions and then we allow our current circumstances to define how we show up. And it's like, unless you can shift that thing, you're not going to shift where you are in the physical. You have to first shift it energetically and what you feel and the frequency you're operating from in order to shift your physical reality. It's quicker and it's easier to shift that frequency within you. That's instant. In order to actually shift the physical reality, that takes time to catch up. So this is why it's so important for you to be able to sit in that feeling that you know that you want and that vision that you have and feel what that feels like within your body as much as possible so that you can embody that frequency. And then eventually your physical world is going to catch up to that thing that you're envisioning and that frequency that you're sitting in. Does this make sense? And then the next question on this is, are you creating? So everything you're creating in this life, are you creating from the infinite source of wisdom and possibility or from your past? Because your past, maybe you did lose money. In your past, maybe money was a struggle. In your past, maybe you didn't always believe in yourself. All of these things could be true. And now that you know that abundance and financial means and everything you want in this life are literally infinite, there's infinite possibility, infinite abundance. Are you shifting the energy that you're creating life from? Or are you still allowing those old past limiting beliefs to be the thing that dictates how you create your life and how you show up in your everyday? Because those things matter. Okay, this is just another note because I feel like this is important. And for those of you who are just listening, I went to Danny Morell's financial intensive because I'm in the Inner Circle program. So I'm just kind of like sharing some key takeaways from that. And if you guys didn't already know that, I don't know why I said that as if I was on a live, because those of you who have been listening for 18 minutes probably already know that. But anyways, what they mentioned there, I think it was Danny, he said, when you go through a heart transition, you won't want to do a lot. Actually, I think I wrote this down because this is something that I see. It's then you will transition from energy of what you desire and pride to truly wanting to help others. And it comes from a genuine place. Okay. So the reason I wrote this down is because I think when you go on a spiritual journey or a reconnection to yourself, where you've been operating in your life from your mind for a really long time, and then you start to reconnect to your heart, you're going to be in this place of like peace and bliss, and you might not really feel like doing. You've probably been doing your entire life. And so now you're in a place where you're like, oh, I just want to enjoy this and like be in this. And I've seen people who kind of go on this spiritual path and this journey, and then they almost want to quit everything that they were doing prior because it feels so good to just be within themselves and be in a being state. But just know that you still need to do stuff in life. And if you're finally in that position, because I went through this where I didn't really feel like creating or pushing or grinding, but it's like now the energy it's coming from for me to want to get to this next level in my life and this next level of my business is not from a push and a grind energy. It's from, holy shit, like if I really tap into this, the amount of people I can support and the impact I can make on this world by building this business is going to be unreal. And it's like that's coming from a heart-centered place, but it also means I need to take physical action in this physical world in order for things to change. And it's like manifestation is all great and all, and you can dream up all of your desires and you can see it in your mind's eye, but nothing happens without physical action in this physical world. So you can dream it all, you can see it all, you can have the vision of what's possible, you can manifest it all and magnetize it toward you, but you still do need to take action. And if you're in that place right now where you're kind of transitioning and you've gone on the spiritual journey, you've reconnected to your heart, Just know it's normal for a season to not really feel like doing anything. It's going to come back, but it's going to come from a place of doing from your heart. And then you're also going to honor your body. Because me right now, I could push and I could grind, but when I feel tired, I'm going to honor that. So I could like show up even today. Right now, I'm feeling really tired again. So I'm recording this podcast, but it's like I had a whole bunch of other stuff planned for today. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give myself my body the rest that it needs and trust that me showing up as best I can each day and doing the things that I can is enough. So I'm taking actions. Yes. I'm doing things with my energy. Yes. Me recording this podcast is a physical action, but I'm not going to push and grind myself into the ground where I probably would have done that in the past. Okay. So the next thing I want you to think about is, just get clear on all of that. And then we did another exercise identifying your current money story. So if you want to do that, you can, but I feel like I might actually save this for a really short episode another time. So it's strictly an exercise that you can do separately. So I'm going to save that to go through. And I'm actually just going to read out some of these amazing quotes from the Robert Edward Grant call that we had, because so many of the things he said, you guys, were so unbelievably powerful, like potent and powerful. So are you ready for this? A bunch of the things he said too really just felt like quotes almost. Oh my gosh, my voice again. One sec. Holy. Okay. A lot of the things he said felt like quotes. So I'm going to read them and elaborate on them if needed. But these are about to blow your mind. Okay. One of them is my favorite. I'm going to get so excited about it because it blew my entire life around. Okay. So Robert Edward Grant, he's built a massive business, you guys. He's super, super, super successful. So just know, if you want to look into him, what he's done, he used to work in pharmaceuticals. Now he's gone on a spiritual journey, still building, still growing, still making millions, still building $1 million companies from that. And he basically went from 0 to 200 million in 1 year. That's crazy for business growth. Okay. So here's the first one. The circumstance we've been given is the very best in all circumstances. What if you chose to believe that? The circumstance we've been given is the very best in all circumstances. So what if you chose to believe that no matter what is happening in your life, no matter the circumstance, as shitty as it is, that was the best circumstance that could have come out of that thing. So imagine like it would have been even worse, but you will always have the best circumstance happen. Okay. Next thing, everything happens to me in divine timing. Another belief to choose to embody. Everything happens to me in divine timing, meaning it's always perfect. Rather than thinking of universe, it's you in verse. You in verse. Everything happening around you is just a reflection of how you treat you. You don't actually see the world as it is. You see it as you are. So the world that you see, it's because of who you are and how you operate. So I may see the world completely different than you because it's how I see also myself. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as you are. Okay? No one to blame for your life or your lack of success but you. How's that for like a little punch? No one to blame but you for your lack of success. The only thing holding you back is the cage that you've put yourself in and the belief system you've created. The only thing that holds us back is the cage of our current belief system. So whatever you currently believe to be true, you utilize those beliefs to create a cage around what's possible for you and your life. Next thing, you are limitless in this lifetime. It's the conditioning that creates limitations. I'm going to keep repeating these, okay? These are just things for you to just let them hit you. Limitless in this lifetime. It's the conditioning that creates limitations. The universe always is happening for and through us. If you can reframe every circumstance in your life, you are a superpower. Change how you see the world, and the world that you see changes. If you can reframe every circumstance in your life, you are a superpower. Change how you see the world, and the world that you see changes. If you want to see more love, be the love. Only when you believe you're limited, you become limited. Only when you believe you are limited, you become limited. So if you want to believe you're limitless, or if you want to become limitless, you need to believe you're limitless. If you want to believe that you're limited, you're going to think that you're limited, right? So really understanding like all of the things that he's saying is so clearly like what you believe up here is what creates the world out here. Seeing is believing. That's what we always hear, right? But he said, what if believing is seeing? And this is what I was saying earlier, how you must create the vision and feel it and know it within you before you ever see it on the outside. And so, yes, you could say seeing is believing in the sense that you look out and you see things of what's possible through other people. So you see it and now you believe it's possible, but you must go inside and believe it within you in order to actually see it in the physical reality of your life. Your belief system forms your reality every single day. So the belief system you're currently operating from is exactly what is creating your reality that is around you every single day. So if you want to shift that reality, you have to shift the belief system behind it. And then there was this little part of just keeping in mind that every day you need to live in an attitude of gratitude, that you can achieve anything you want in this life with proper reframing. So like go and rewrite the stories, rewrite the limiting beliefs, and trust that you can expand and become the biggest, best version of you strictly by reframing circumstances in your life and shifting the limiting beliefs. Okay. Now we're going to jump into this other little section. I'm going to keep reading these quotes to you, and I just want you to let them land. Okay. Relationships are merely a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. So the relationships in your life are merely just a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. So if in your partnership relationship, you don't feel loved, do you really love you? And you may be on a healing journey. So you're starting to feel these things and you realize that you don't have it in your partnership because you're starting to have it in you. But likely when you met and you started, let's say that you never really felt loved. You felt manipulated, or you felt betrayed, or you felt disconnected, or whatever. Ultimately, if I use myself as an example, I didn't feel like there was like a lot of depth in communication. I didn't feel like he was connected to his own heart. I didn't feel like we could connect on the level that I wanted to and have that intimacy. Okay, well, when we got in that relationship, I was not connected to my own heart. I was not comfortable with super deep intimacy. And I also didn't encourage deep communication. Rather, I'd let it just not be met. And I would be quiet to that. So it's like who I was at the beginning of the relationship is exactly what I mirrored and attracted in him. No fault of his. That's who I was. And then as I started on my journey to come back to my heart and back to myself and the truth of who I am, we were no longer an energetic match because we weren't growing in the same direction. So it really is true. The relationships that you are in your life right now are merely a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. This one, are you guys ready for this one? It's gonna, I need you to write this down. Think of it for the rest of your life. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm burping and hiccuping. We will attract everything we judge until we no longer judge everything we attract. This one, do you guys get it? I'm going to say it again, okay? We will attract everything we judge until we no longer judge everything we attract. So if you are in a state of judgment, no matter what you judge is going to come and be basically magnetized toward you until you no longer judge it. And I can give this example in relationships in my life, for example, or even just the next day after they said this, there was someone in the room that I wouldn't say I necessarily judge them, but I don't really love their energy. I feel like they're always negative and complaining and whatever. And so I noted that the day before. Guess who I get sat next to the next day? That exact person. And I went, you will attract everything you judge until you no longer judge everything you attract. And I'm I think if you apply this to your life, when just shit kind of gets put in your face or things happen, it's you're going to keep coming up to that experience until you learn the lesson. And even for me, I had judgment on certain sexual preferences. And guess what? Someone showed up in my life that I really cared about that had those sexual preferences. And I had to go, dang, am I going to keep judging this? Because unconditional love wouldn't judge any of that. You would still care about this person. And so it gives you an opportunity to stop judging that thing. I even think for a different example, right, could be someone who judges a quote unquote single mom or a woman with kids. Okay, well, that person might continually attract the woman with kids until they no longer judge the woman with kids. Or for example, if you think that someone who sleeps around a lot is You have your own judgments on that. Okay, well, you might keep attracting the person who sleeps around a lot until you no longer judge the person who sleeps around a lot. This could be anything in business, for example. Like you could have a judgment against a certain type of person, and that person just keeps showing you like, what the hell am I doing to attract this? Okay, well, maybe the lesson is until you stop judging it, you're going to keep attracting it into your life. Does this make sense? So just think of that line, write it down, and like everything in life, you're just going to be like, holy shit. We will attract everything we judge until we no longer judge everything we attract. Maybe the reason we don't feel unconditionally loved is because that person is reflecting back to you what you haven't yet given to yourself. Oof, let that one sink in. For all of you who feel like you don't feel unconditionally loved by your partner, maybe the reason we don't feel unconditionally loved is because that person is reflecting back to you what you haven't yet given to yourself. If you don't first unconditionally love and accept you, every relationship that is in front of you is going to mirror how much they don't love and accept you. You have to get to that place within you first. And then once you get there, the frequency that you operate from is no longer going to be a mirror to attract people who don't also love and accept and can unconditionally love themselves. And the only way you can unconditionally love another is when you unconditionally love yourself. And I feel like this has been part of my journey over the last 3 years. Is really last year, unconditional love started making a lot of sense to me. And I started feeling what that felt like for the first time in people in my life and partnerships that wasn't an attachment. I wasn't attached to these outside people to have that relationship with them. I truly understood that unconditional love is detachment. Unconditional love is I see you and I accept you fully as you are, and I don't feel the need to change you. I may place you in a different place in my life based on how you are and how you operate, that like maybe you don't get full access to me and maybe I don't want to be in a partnership with you, but it doesn't mean I have to not love you. And nonetheless, I don't know what the right word would be. There's 2 little butterflies flying in front of me. If you guys listen to the episode about my journey, the butterfly has been my sign through this entire spiritual journey I've been on, and like all of the deconstructing and breaking down of past limiting beliefs even within myself. And so truly, like just really feel that maybe the reason you don't feel unconditionally loved is because that person is just reflecting back to you what you haven't yet given to yourself. So trust that anything you want in this life, you have to first give to you before you can get it from another, because they're just going to mirror you and they're going to match you at wherever you're at. The next one, you subconsciously believe you deserve how you're being treated. So this is jumping a little into relationship, but this matters in money because money is likely a reflection also of like the relationship that you have with yourself or with other. So I'm going to say that again. You subconsciously believe you deserve how you're being treated. Because I'll tell you, no one has treated me like shit since I stopped accepting people treating me like shit. That was a long time ago. But I don't get disrespected like that. I don't have that show up. I haven't had that show up in relationship. So truly, if you still have someone really treating you like shit, like there's something deep down that part of you feels like you deserve it. And if you don't believe you deserve it, then you're no longer going to give someone who mistreats you access to you. You're going to get them out of your life and place them accordingly. Like how I said, like sometimes there's going to be people in your life who you get to know them and then you realize like, oh, actually, no, this isn't a fit for me in the way I feel I deserve to be treated. And then you place them accordingly. You create some separation, whatever you need to do, but you don't continue to allow this person to treat you like garbage. If we don't believe we deserve it, we'll subconsciously make sure it doesn't happen. So this especially is something that you can apply in business, relationships, anything, health, whatever. If you subconsciously don't believe that you deserve it, you will self-sabotage it and make sure it doesn't happen every single time. I watch this happen in business all the time. People haven't necessarily evolved or truly believe what they deserve and what they feel is capable or what they believe they're worthy of. And so when it starts to show up in their life and it's happening for them, they will self-sabotage it every single time because they don't believe it deep down that that's what they deserve. So if we don't believe we deserve it, we'll subconsciously make sure it doesn't happen every single time. Anyone who says they're a realist is actually a pessimist in disguise. So this is so true. The people are like, I'm just a realist. Like, no, you're a pessimist, because ultimately to manifest and have anything happen in your life, you need to be an optimist and really truly believe anything is possible and believe and have gratitude and believe that the best possible outcome is always available to you. So Anyone who says they're a realist is actually a pessimist in disguise, because ultimately your core belief and like operating system is negative. Like you immediately go to worst case scenario, which is being a pessimist. Okay. The best way to get what you want is believe you already have it in the present moment and to continue to celebrate as if it's already happened. So the best way to get what you want is to believe you already have it in the present moment and celebrate it as if it's already happened. So an example was he had said like he loves watches. And so when he knew there was going to be a massive business deal, let's say go through in 6 months, or that's when the company was going to be created, a lot of people would wait until the thing has been created in order to go celebrate. He would celebrate when he had the vision in his mind, and then he would set the date for when it was going to be possible. And he would commit to that, but he would celebrate it as if right now it had already happened, because if it already has happened in your mind, it's already being created in the physical. So you have to start to grasp that. Like I truly know everything that I have envisioned for my life, the partnership I want, the house I want, the land I want to live on, the things that I want to create, they're already happening. Like because I've seen it and like really truly visualized it here in my mind and in my, mind's eye, it's already happening. It's just the physical world has to start catching up with my physical actions and the things that I'm creating in order to get me to that place where that third or where that thing is that I put out in the universe. Does that make sense? So it's like if you can truly feel it, see it, know that it's possible and it's coming, celebrate it as if it's already happened in the now and trust that like it's all going to catch up to you. Sometimes we just need a little bit of time for it to all start to actually happen. So the next thing is that people are always worried about risk. And so they end up planning a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. But by doing that and creating all of these other plan A, B, C, and D, you're actually self-sabotaging plan A. And whatever plan you believe is exactly what you're going to create. So if you're so worked up about plan B or a plan A not working out, that's exactly what you create. So especially in the business that I'm in, I see this all the time. Like, oh, I'm going to try this thing. But like, if it doesn't work out, then I have this happening and this happening and this happening. So like, I'm good because I still have this job and I still have that and I still have that. You already just self-sabotage plan A. If I can tell you anything, when I started the business that I'm in right now, my network marketing business, I did not give myself a plan B, C, or D. I went all in on plan A and I was like, I'm going to make this thing my plan A and it's going to be the thing that changes my life. It's going to be the thing that helps me get rid of plan B, C, and D. And this is going to be the thing that I run with. Because I did that, guess what worked out? Plan A. But everyone who I see that doesn't go all in and all in on their belief and all in on the business that they're currently creating, they always never get the success that they're actually looking for. The only way for you to get the success that you're looking for is you need to go all in with your plan A. If you're always looking at like, what are plan C and D and D? And like, if this doesn't work out, then I have this, you're wasting so much energy on a bunch of other options. Of course, your plan A isn't going to work out. You never believed it was going to work out because you created all these other plans. I never created backup plans because I fully trusted and believed that my plan A was going to be the best thing and it was going to be the thing that worked out. So if you're constantly creating all of these other areas of your life that you are worried about this one not working out and you create all these other things, you're already self-sabotaging the thing that you really want. If you really want, let's say it's your business right now, if you want that thing to work, you want to grow it to a financial level that allows you to get rid of a job or drop the 9-to-5 that you hate, or you want to make a certain amount of money at it, you need to go all in. You need to believe with all of the belief within your body that this is the thing that's going to work and this is what you're putting all of your energy into. When you shift that focus and you swing all of that energy into that one thing, you're going to have so much more success than if you were trying to work out 10 different plans at once. As human beings, when we pull all of our energy and our power into one thing, you make it like you are so incredibly powerful. And when you pull all of that energy into that one thing, you're so much more likely that that's going to be the thing that works out rather than when you had 100 different things on the go. And all of those things are going to be a lot less successful than if you just put all of your energy into the one thing, mastered it, built it as big as you possibly can to wherever you want for your level of quote unquote success. And then you can think about another plan A. So it's like build the plan A until the plan A is self-sufficient and it's working and it's going. And if you want to tap in and start creating another plan, which would be another plan A simultaneously, then you can put your energy there. But until then, decide what you want and go all in on that one thing. Another couple before we end is love yourself by loving others, unlearning the limitations, you've become to believe. So unlearning limitation, you've come to believe. So just starting to identify, like, what are the limitations, the self-imposed limitations that you've put on your life? What are the limitations others have put upon you? So it could be like your mom, your dad, your caregivers, who they didn't have super high belief. And so ultimately those limitations are within their own life. How are those showing up? And how could you begin to unlearn those and reframe those and rewrite those so that they no longer control your life? The things we judge, positive or negative, will continue to show up in our lives until we can see everything through gratitude and optimism. So anything you see in a negative light is going to continue to show up in your life until you see everything that shows up in your life through gratitude and optimism. You don't have love around you because you don't have love within you. So if you feel like you can't feel love from the people around you, you don't feel like you have love in your life, it's because you don't have love within you. Because what you see, you attract. And so if you feel like there's deep, deep love within you, you're going to start noticing all of the love that's around you every single time. So just trust that. Like, anything you feel that you don't have and you aren't seeing it reflected on the outside, it's because you don't have it within you. So work on how you can cultivate that feeling within you first. Get rid of all the self-limiting narratives and bullshit. Any negative belief must reframe it into a positive belief. There's no true limitations. It's just a belief system. And there's no time limitations. It's just a belief system. Time isn't real. Faith creates ability to create it in an instant. So even how people were asking, like, how did you go from 0 to 200 million so fast? We're the ones that say, in 9 months, I'll be able to do this. In a year, I'll be able to do this. In 85 years, then I'll be at this. In 5 years, that feels good. Then I'll go for this. When my baby finally is in daycare and all of these months go by, then I'll be able to do this. Time isn't real. It's a construct we create and live by. But you can make anything happen in an instant if you just have faith and believe, and you can actually see it as possible. Like, numbers are all an illusion, and you can 4 times, 10 times, 25 times your business within months if you truly believe it and go all in on it with action. Okay. So the same thing with your limiting beliefs, like time limitations that you impose on yourself, it's the same as the limiting beliefs. That's how they show up. The only obstacles in your life are the imaginary ones you place upon yourself. The only obstacles in your life are the imaginary ones that you place upon yourself. If you believe you should be taken advantage of, you will continue to be taken advantage of. We attract everything we judge until we're no longer judging everything we attract. So that's just to say it again for the 100th time. But if you believe you should be taken advantage of, you'll continue to be taken advantage of. Another one was, don't let family that you come from ruin the family you're creating. So if the people in your life, the family that you have, is negatively impacting your kids, yourself, your own well-being, don't allow them to negatively impact the life and the family that you're creating. And sometimes that means you need to create separation. Another one was lack of trust with yourself is a lack of trust. Lack of trust with others is lack of trust within yourself. When you trust yourself, you can trust life, and you can trust that you can create the life that you want to live. And it also allows you to trust that everything you want in life will show up for you. So yeah, I'm not going to go into anything else, but I wanted to kind of share those key takeaways from this one. Just because I feel like some of those quotes were so unbelievably powerful, and I will go into the other sections in a different episode, but I just wanted to repeat those to you to have you kind of reflect on your own personal financial dream and start to just identify, like, what are your self-imposed limitations and how can you start to reframe those to truly believe that anything that you want in this life is possible and that you're an abundant, limitless human being. I'm feeling low energy now. I recorded 2 podcasts in a row, which is so much energy output for me every single time. So if you're a projector, I feel you. I am tired, but I'm also excited. Like, this week, you guys, was so much learning and training and deconstructing of limiting beliefs and like dropping things in breath work and releasing. But I really do feel so good. And like the next level of my life is here and it's coming and I'm committed to it. And I can't wait to take you guys along that journey of what that looks like. Like, I really hope you know that I try to share everything I'm learning with you as I learn it so that you guys can apply it to your own lives. And that's always my goal with any of this. And me sharing is like, I want as many of you to start to become the people that you're meant to be on this planet and like really truly believe that you're as limitless as you are. And so I hope that some of these things you can apply to your own life, really feel those, and trust that you can have whatever you want in this life, and you can create whatever it is that you want in this life. You just need to first believe that it's possible. So get clear on your vision, feel it within your mind, allow yourself to sit in that frequency, and trust that when you take actions from that place and it's clear and it's heart-centered for what you want to create, you're going to live such a different life, and you're going to start to watch everything around you start to change because you changed what was happening in here. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next episode. And if you like this episode, please follow along, subscribe, whatever you need to do, like download or like the channel or whatever it is that it is. When you share on social, that means so much to me, and it helps other people access these. And if this was really helpful for you, make sure you share it with somebody that you know so that they can start to access the most abundant version of themselves too, and they can go create this life that they are destined and deserving of living. So thank you so much for being here. I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.